The sound of screeching tires jolted Evelyn Hartwell from her afternoon tea. Through the Venetian blinds, she watched a police cruiser pull up directly in front of the Rodriguez family's meticulously maintained craftsman-style home. Her manicured fingers gripped the delicate porcelain cup, a predatory smile spreading across her face. This was going to be good. Detective Andrews stepped out first, his weathered boots crunching on the perfectly manicured Street Augustine grass. Behind him, Officer Martinez looked distinctly uncomfortable, scanning the pristine suburban street with a mix of confusion and mild embarrassment. Evelyn knew every detail of this neighborhood. She'd made it her personal mission to know everything. Marcos Rodriguez stood on his front porch, arms crossed, his stance a perfect blend of defiance and controlled anger. His wife, Elena, peered nervously from behind the screen door, one hand protectively resting on their youngest child's shoulder. "Mr. Rodriguez," Detective Andrews began, his voice carrying across the immaculate front yards, "we received a complaint about an alleged zoning violation and potential safety hazard." Evelyn's smile widened. She knew exactly who had made that complaint. Herself. The neighborhood of Pinewood Estates was her kingdom, and she was its unelected, but absolutely undisputed ruler. As the most senior member of the Homeowners Association board, Evelyn had cultivated a reputation that made even the most seasoned contractors quake. Her meticulously maintained three-story Tudor-style home sat at the end of Magnolia Lane like a fortress, its white exterior and perfectly trimmed hedges a testament to her obsessive control. The complaint was simple yet devastating. Marcos had closed off a portion of his driveway to create a small workshop space. A harmless renovation, most would think. But not in Evelyn's world. Every inch of Pinewood Estates was governed by a labyrinth of rules so complex that even lawyers struggled to understand them. The modification, she had written in her 7-page complaint to the HOA board and local authorities, represents a clear and present danger to neighborhood aesthetics and potential emergency vehicle access. Never mind that Marcos was a mechanical engineer who had carefully measured and planned every single detail. Never mind that he had actually improved the structural integrity of his property. In Evelyn's world, unauthorized changes were nothing short of community terrorism. Officer Martinez shifted uncomfortably, clearly sensing the tension. "Ma'am," he addressed Elena, "could you explain the modifications to your driveway?" Elena's eyes darted nervously between the officers and the houses around them. She knew, just as everyone in Pinewood Estates knew, that Evelyn Hartwell was watching. Always watching. What started as a simple home improvement project was about to become a neighborhood battle that would define the summer, and Evelyn Hartwell was precisely where she wanted to be, at the absolute center of the controversy. The emergency HOA board meeting was called for precisely 7:15 p.m., a time Evelyn had strategically chosen to inconvenience most working professionals. The community center's small conference room buzzed with nervous energy as neighbors filed in, each casting wary glances at the Rodriguez family and at Evelyn Hartwell, who sat ramrod straight at the head of the long oak table. Her pearl-handled reading glasses perched perfectly on the bridge of her nose, a stack of color-coded documents arranged with military precision before her. 3 thick binders, each labeled with color-coded tabs and annotated with sticky notes, represented her comprehensive dossier on the Rodriguez incident. "The matter before us," Evelyn began, her voice cutting through the murmur of conversations like a razor-sharp knife, "is not merely about a driveway modification. It is about the very fabric of our community's integrity." Marcos Rodriguez sat near the back, his engineering background evident in the way he maintained a calm, analytical demeanor. Elena gripped his hand, her wedding ring catching the fluorescent lighting. They were newcomers to Pinewood Estates, having moved in just 18 months ago, and were quickly learning the unwritten rules of suburban warfare. Thomas Jenkins, the HOA board's token voice of reason, cleared his throat. "Perhaps we could hear directly from the Rodriguez family about their proposed modifications." Evelyn's smile was a razor-thin line. "I prepared a comprehensive presentation demonstrating the multiple code violations and potential safety risks." What followed was a masterclass in bureaucratic intimidation. Evelyn's presentation included architectural diagrams, zoning maps, and a series of increasingly obscure HOA bylaws. She had color-coded each potential violation, complete with photographic evidence meticulously gathered over the past month. The driveway modification, a seemingly innocent project to create a small workshop space, was transformed into what Evelyn portrayed as a potential neighborhood apocalypse. Aerial photos show the precise angle of the driveway closure. Zoning maps highlighted potential emergency vehicle access issues. A series of blown-up photographs documented every nail, every piece of lumber, every minute detail of the construction. "Consider the precedent we would set," Evelyn proclaimed, her voice rising with dramatic intensity. "If we allow this modification, what's next? Backyard yurts? Shipping container homes? Underground bunkers?" The room held its collective breath. Marcos leaned forward, his engineering precision matching Evelyn's bureaucratic meticulousness. Every modification was carefully measured. I've ensured a minimum of 14 feet remains clear for emergency vehicle access, well above the required 12-foot standard. But Evelyn was prepared. She pulled out another document, its margins filled with tiny, meticulously handwritten notes. Section 7, subsection C of the Pinewood Estates Community Guidelines clearly states that any structural modification requires not just board approval, but a comprehensive review by the Architectural Review Committee. The meeting was less a discussion and more a performance, with Evelyn Hartwell as both director and star performer. Each word was calculated, each gesture precise. She wasn't just enforcing rules. She was making a statement about power, control, and the delicate social ecosystem of suburban life. As the meeting progressed, it became clear that this was about far more than a simple driveway modification. This was a battle for the soul of Pinewood Estates, and Evelyn Hartwell had no intention of losing.